You're listening to Fun Oldies, 100.9 FM and AM 1450. Welcome to the fastest hour in radio, all about cars. Brought to you by ABC Motors Prescott with your hosts, David, don't call me Dave Spence, and Big Mike Hill.
All right, so we're still here in the bagel business, but I'm going to throw in a couple other things and get back in the bagel business some more here.
How's that sound? It sounds like a plan. I did want to say that we've neglected our producer, Scott. We've got Mr. Scott Wow behind the glass, making time pass, and he does a great job for us, and I never want to feel like he's not part of what we're doing, because without him, it's pretty much dead air. So,
it would be.
Yeah. Good morning, Scott.
You might even get that with me here. Depends how interesting.
Well, it's limited. Are you racing tonight, Scott, out at the raceway?
I am racing tonight out at the raceway. I'm actually racing. I'm not just going to be there.
Okay, I want to see those signs out there. Go, Scotty, go.
Yeah. Car number 75, hobby stock class.
Nice.
Also, we got some Outlaw Dwarf cars racing tonight. Super stocks, SCRA factory stocks.
And what does this cost us to do?
It's $15 a head. If you're 10 and under, you're free.
What time is it?
The gates open at 6. Racing starts at 7.
And how long does it last, roughly?
It can't go beyond 11 o'clock due to the Prescott Valley noise ordinance.
Figures.
Interesting.
Yeah. But it could make for a nice Saturday night.
It could. You know what I was thinking is you need to get Eric to sponsor you with bagel tires.
Oh, how cool would that
How cool would that be? So I'm gonna do the cheap segue.
The cheap segue?
Yes, tonight Scott is gonna have a great race. And speaking of great race, David, what information did you bring?
All right. For those people who don't know, now we've got the cheap segue. The great race this year is being run June 21st to the 29th. That's sponsored by Hemmings Motor News. And Haggerty likes to have a lot to do with that if you need insurance. Not that we get anything from them. But the cool thing about it is it's going to run from Ogonquit, Maine, all the way down to the villages in Florida this year. And basically 1972 and before cars, preferably older than newer. They run them daily in a time and distance operation where you got to get it all right and have some pretty neat prizes. And it's a hell of a lot of fun if you're in the area and you get to go down and see the cars come through and see all the cars and the racers. And one of the neatest things I think about that is they have crews to put them back together. So can you imagine driving that huge distance, and maybe you're driving like they're talking about driving a 1916 Peerless, and you're going to drive it all the way from Maine, all the way to Florida, and you got to do it in that few days, that 8 days. Trust me, that's tough.
Now you said the time and distance. How does that work?
Well, they have segments where they've got to go. They have a certain route they have to follow, but it's also timed, and they don't get to do it with all kinds of fancy stuff. So nobody's got a cell phone. So you can't use your cell phone to cheat. Can't use your cell phone for navigation. So you got a driver and you got a navigator. Navigator's got a set of instructions, and they've got to follow the instructions, and they have certain amounts of time to use, and all they're allowed to use is a stopwatch, and there are people checking up on them on the whole race. So it's a true rally. And so it's not necessarily, you have a newer car, you're going to do better. Not so. The oldest car might do the best. Depends a lot on the skill of the people actually doing the driving and the skill of your navigator. So it's really, it's a great deal of fun, certainly to watch. And I've actually known some people have been in it, and it's a hell of a thing. It's come through here in the past. It's been quite a few years. It just depends on where they run it in a given year. But that's the route this year. And if you're going to be on the East Coast, heck, go on the internet, find out about it at greatrace.com. And why don't you go over there and see what's going on one of the days?
How many miles do you think that is?
2,100. It's 2,100, close. Okay. That's what they give me for a number.
So,
okay.
On those times, too, if you go real fast, that's also not cool because it's a time restraint. You can't take off too much. You can't.
That's correct. If you get there too soon, it counts against you.
That'd be pretty cool. Is that something you would be interested in doing with the combination coupe when it's here in this side?
Oh, seriously. I actually years ago even talked about doing it with one of the Kissels, but I haven't ever done it. And Mike, it's on my, if you want to say there's ever a bucket list, I got a ways to go, but that is something I would do. I don't give a rip if I win. That's
Right.
not the point.
Oh, man, no.
The point is to make the car work the 8 days and try your damnedest to do your best. So to me, finishing's winning.
That'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool.
So I think that's a worthwhile thing that if you got a chance ever, it's something actually to see.
You said it has to be 74 and older?
No, 72 and
72.
older.
So you've got a 72
One of them is a 70, and the other one's a 74.
70.
that we're doing
See, the
right
70
so
would
you could take
qualify.
a 70.
Yes.
Well, was the Mercedes the 70 or
now.
the
Exactly. Yes.
Well, that'd be a nice car to cruise for.
Well, the fact that it's a cabriolet interests me.
Yeah.
I tend to like top-down cars.
Is it a 3-pedal?
No, it is an automatic.
Well, who ruined that?
I know. It's a pretty car though. It's going to be black with a tan interior and tan top. It has burl wood. Came from the factory with all options, but a right mirror. It even has a limited slip differential.
That will be a
Sweet.
sharp car.
Yes.
That is a good color combination.
Yes.
So that'll look really nice.
David is a color connoisseur when it comes to combination. Color combination connoisseur. Try
You're
saying
right.
that one.
That was pretty good, though.
Yeah. That's his new tagline there for him, Scott. Write that in.
You're going to see if Scott can stay that tongue twister every time. Huh?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, by the way, did you see what the chairman of Fiat said yesterday?
No, I didn't, but I know what it was about.
All right. Well, it's kind of a big deal. Yeah, we're always hearing about how great electric cars are. First of all, segue here, I'm not against electric cars.
Are you against segways?
No.
Oh, okay.
But it is true that electric cars are not everything they're cracked up to be. You know, we're told all these wonderful things. Well, here's the kick. Chairman of Fiat was remarking that he's got a Fiat 500 electric. Now, the regular car is roughly $19,000. The electric's roughly $32,000. So it's a little bit more money to buy it. But here's what he said. He's telling people, please do not buy the electric. And he's not kidding. The reason he said it is because his electric cost him $14,000 more than he gets for the car.
Wow.
Why is he making the car? Because the government is saying you got to make X amount of electric cars in order to sell cars. That is the only reason they're making it. And the other thing he said was interesting was the only one in the electric car industry making any money is Tesla. Do you know what a Tesla costs? Roughly.
It's pretty good money.
Yeah, about $80,000. This is not to speak against him, but you have to have a lot of money on the car to actually make it a viable business proposition.
Well, speaking of Teslas, I won't tell you who the owner is, but I will tell you that I was told by Lori out at Jeff Champ Insurance in Chino Valley
Yes.
that Tesla in the next 2 weeks will be delivering a Tesla to a local buyer.
Have you seen the red one that a local buyer obviously has?
No.
Yeah, I've seen the red one several times. I haven't been able to actually catch the person, not in the car.
Right.
So I could actually talk to him about it because I thought it'd be nice to talk to somebody about it. Because the other thing people ought to know is I actually think the car is damn gorgeous. It's a beautiful car. Okay, so if you're in that level of money that you're going to put in a car, you can certainly consider it.
Right.
But for a practical reality, they're just not inexpensive.
There's, and it always goes back to what we've talked about a bunch of times, knowing what you're dealing with. And I don't know anybody that can work on a Tesla.
No, that's also a reality. But I also got to say this. One of the things I think so cool about it, because it sounds like I'm against them, but I'm not. Isn't it kind of cool that somebody started a brand new American car company?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and we're not talking about it's boutique. I mean, it's a car company. You ever look on the internet and watch how they're built in their factory? They actually build the darn things.
Absolutely.
Well, and I think Consumer Reports gave them almost a perfect score on reliability and on everything about the cars.
Right, and I think that's when the feds tried to step in and say you can't sell them except through dealerships.
Well, yeah, certain states have states have that in particular.
States.
Right.
But you see, we could sit here and debate the merits of it, but as to whether or not that makes sense. But the reality is, I think the car is what they say, a tour de force of modern technology. It's cool that an American company is doing it, and it is a cool-looking car. I just can't sit here and say, I'm going to drop $80,000 on a car. I'm sorry.
Well, that's the thing is, for me, $80,000 represents, I don't know, what, 20 cars?
Yeah, it's a serious amount of money to drop on a vehicle.
Right.
And unfortunately, if I'm going to drop that much money on a vehicle, now I want a vehicle that's going to appreciate.
Right.
which can make sense to a lot of car guys out there. You want something that's not going to be going down.
Absolutely. Eric, I got 2 questions for you now that we've talked about a really cool car. My question is this, is A, what is your favorite car of all time?
Boy, that's a tough one. Maybe a Gullwing.
Gullwing's
That is
really
an
nice
awesome car.
And if you could pick one car, what would be the most embarrassing car to be seen in?
Oh, we did that one day. Yes, we did.
Let's see. I would think it would have to be an AMC. What was the round one that looked like a ball?
Oh, you mean a Pacer?
A Pacer.
I could believe that because there are a lot of people that would say that's true. When we had that on, we were talking about things like a Nissan Cube. I find that completely embarrassing.
My daughter is 16, and I threatened her with a Nissan Cube.
That's the threat. Well, now if she really acts up, get her a smart car.
Yeah, that was named. Actually, we talked about that. It was named the most embarrassing car in the country.
I think the most cruel thing you could do with a smart car is get it for your 16-year-old daughter and do not let her tint the windows. My number one embarrassing car was the Prius. Why? Because it doesn't do what they're purported to do. It's not necessarily a bad car, but when you talk about it's this and this and this, and it's not, that ruins it for me. And Scott, I forget what yours was.
The to be seen in?
Yeah.
I think I was with the Cube or one of those little smart cars.
Yeah. Could you imagine Scott in a smart car?
No. Did you imagine Scott trying to peel himself out of a smart car?
You'd look like Wolverine with a tin can.
Right. I'd have to have the music playing.
There you go. All right, we'll be back with our final segment here on All About Cars, brought to you by ABC Motors Prescott on 100.9 FM, 1450 AM.
Now wouldn't you?